care of the dog mess. My wife tried that ish on me. I said, hell no, because I'm going to be the one taking care of it. Right. And we had this big, long discussion 11 years ago about, who's going to be responsible for taking care of this dog. And at that time, it was profusely relayed to me that, no, Daddy, you won't have to do none of this. We're going to take care of it. This is my middle daughter, Kayla, and the baby girl. She was probably like, Kara's right now, she's 13, so she was just like born. She was like 2 years old. Oh, we're going to take care of the dog. And that's where the dog's name came from, Kipper. You remember there was a cartoon on called Kipper the dog? And so my baby girl, Kara, the LOP, was like 2 years old. She used to watch this damn TV show, this cartoon called Kipper the dog. And so what do we name the dog? Kipper! Simple. Okay, cool. Fine with me. But really more so my middle daughter, Kayla, and my wife, like, y'all gonna take care of this dog. Like, I'm telling you, I really don't even want to do this. We can get us a bulldog, we can put his ass in the backyard, and we can be done with it. A pit bull. No, we'll take care of the dog. We love the dog. Please get the dog. We'll let the dog live in the house, and it won't be a problem when the dog shits on the ground and throws up all over the place and sheds hair. We love the dog. Right. And so quickly, that whole thing was switched up on me. And ultimately, I became the guy that had to clean up all of the doo-doo and to throw up and walk the dog and take him to the vet and pay all of this damn money for shots and all of that. I ended up taking the brunt of all of that. Right. From Rashad Griswold, Roy never learned the sweet science. He didn't want to fight my coach. I don't know what you're talking about, Grismore. So Rashad Griswold, the Grizz, is a big fight fan. He also trains. He also boxes a little bit on his own. So he has some very poignant opinions about boxing. And Roy isn't, when he says the sweet science, Roy is kind of, and I've said this before, he's very unorthodox. Like, I can't think of that many great fighters. Pacquiao is kind of like in that category, but not to the degree of Roy. Like Aaron Pryor was kind of like the same way, where they threw all of this, they had a very unorthodox style. They threw punches from all different angles and just not your typical, professionally trained boxer. And, right, I would say, yeah, Roy is probably not your typical classical fighter. He's never really been that guy. But, boy, you can't deny that he was special. Man. Roy was special, man. Roy was special, man, and just exhilarating to watch, man. And I love the fact that he threw punches from all these different angles, man. He knocked fools the F out. From Tiffany Sports and Heels, Doug, stop crying. Your family is happy, aren't they? Yeah, they are, but how about their daddy? How about me? The dog bit me, Tiffany. The dog bit me. They said it was a love tap, but I say he bit me. From Loose Neck Side, Monica told Doug that $4 ain't considered employment. Take care of Kipper. Oh, you silly Negroes. From RC, Roy was never technically sound like Floyd, but his hand speed was amazing and he could punch. Exactly. Hand speed. I'll put Roy Jones Jr. up there at the top of the list as far as hand speed, man. I mean, him, Sugar Ray Leonard, cats like that. Yes, Roy's hand speed. Oh, my God. Hey, man, I'm a huge fan of that dude, man. That's why it hurts so much to watch him today. From Big L X Squad, I would that dog on a long ride, or I guess he meant take that dog on a long ride on a dirt road and drop his ass off. My daddy did the same thing to me. I've told that story before. I can't do that. It's too attached to the damn dog. I can't do that. I've thought about it many a times. Just taking the dog for a damn ride. Wife and kids get home late afternoon. I'm the only one there. No Kipper. Hey, where's Kipper at? Oh, well, Kipper said he was going to the store to get some cigarettes. You're right. He's been gone for a minute. I hadn't noticed he's been gone. But he goes all the time to get cigarettes, so he'll be back any minute now. Right. I've thought about it many a times. My daddy did the same thing to me. I've told the story before. Took my damn dog on a little ride and never came back, Yeah. So I've thought about it many, many times before, but I've never done it. And it looks like that we're going to be here in his last days. He's old as hell. Once again, he's losing his Bible. I told you all of this stuff. From Rough Buff X Squad, about 12 years ago, I went to the pet store to get a dog. But the city slicker and me talked to my girls into getting a Berta fish. But last month, I signed off on a French bulldog. Wow. A French bulldog? Is that a type of dog that you can keep in the house? A bulldog doesn't sound like any type of dog. With the name bulldog, it doesn't sound like it should be in the house. But the way you're putting it is you're going to keep this bulldog in the house. That could be a problem. From Kaza, Kipper ran away. Yeah, Kipper ran away. From Loose Neck Side, Doug B. like, Kipper left with James from Good Times to go to the store. Oh, where's Kipper at? Kipper said that he was going out with his cousins and they were going to work on the Alaskan pipeline. Like James Evans. Like James Evans, he went to work on the Alaskan pipeline. He said he would be back in a couple of days. From Robert the Dope Boy Slade. I'm laughing at Waterhead. Robert, one Dope Boy Slade. Doug, that's when you say he not with y'all. He's not with y'all? Wait a minute, I thought y'all had him. Right. Exactly. From Jam to Imagine Roy Jones' hand speed in a heavyweight. That was Muhammad Ali in his prime. Best I've ever seen. Very good comparison. Very good comparison as far as hand speed. Ali more technically sound, more of a traditionally trained fighter in the way that he threw his hands. Roy, once again, a little bit more unorthodox. But, yeah, Roy Muhammad Ali as far as hand speed, and power. They both had a lot of hand speed, but they had power behind their punches as well. Very good comparison. Not the exact comparison, but very good comparison as far as hand speed, man, and power. You're right. Roy was basically a smaller Muhammad Ali. Very much so. Very much so. Roy never got hit. You talk about Mayweather and how he never gets hit in his great defense. Roy never really got hit. Until I had read the story last week about, we were talking about this. Roy, up until he got knocked out by Antonio Tarver, like he had only been down one time, and I think that was in the James Toney fight when he slipped. Okay? So, just like Mayweather, man, these cats never get hit. Roy never used to get hit. That's why when we were at the fight when he lost to Tarver, man, everybody literally, when Roy went down, like he went down like a sack of wet cement. Like his arms kind of locked up and he just fell straight down like a board. When that man was on the way down to the canvas, everybody at that arena stood up and our mouths were open like we couldn't believe it. And not only did he fall straight like a board, he laid on the ground and didn't move. He ain't been the same since, man. Like it was just unbelievable to see Roy fall like that. And when he fell on the ground, if you remember, he stayed on the ground. He didn't move. It was almost like he was dead. And they rushed security and the medics in there, man, and they really were concerned about him for a couple of minutes. Like he stayed on the canvas. Like you really couldn't, Tarver really couldn't celebrate, and everybody else really couldn't celebrate like you would have on a big monumentous win like that for Tarver. Like nobody, like people were concerned. Like everybody in the arena was concerned. Roy Jones is dead. Oh, man, it was a terrible thing to witness, especially being a Roy Jones Jr. fan, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. It might have been one of the most live, up and close, and personal things that I've ever seen in my sports fandom life. Like, I couldn't believe it. And the only other thing that comes to mind is when Tyson lost. Couldn't believe that either, obviously. But being there at the arena where this was actually happening, man, it was just unbelievable that Roy would get knocked out like that, man. And once again, he has not been the same since. From Andre Elam, Roy ass get hit all the time. Now he does. He does. From Rashad Grismore, my coach wanted to fight Roy Jones Jr., and he turned on the fad. I'm not sure exactly what that means. From RC, cheating ass Antonio Tarver. I think it was RC that mentioned it in the chat room this weekend on the Doug Stewart Show Facebook chat group, how Antonio Tarver had failed a couple of drug tests in his day. And was he doped up? Because you remember, Roy actually fought this guy 3 times. Roy beat him the first time, and I think in a 12-round decision. And then the second time around, and then they always had this is that correct? I think I remember that they even went back further than that, like and when they were younger, when they were kids in the junior circuit. And so they're from Florida, Roy's from Pensacola and Tarver's from Orlando. And so they had fought each other like in the junior ranks or whatever. And Roy beat him as professionals the first time in a decision. And then the second time around, Tarver found the strength and the ability to knock out a man that never had been knocked down before. Only one time ever in his career, knocked him out cold. Like Roy was asleep. He was asleep for a couple of minutes. And then you found out later Tarver failed a couple of drug tests, steroids, and you wonder, was Roy's career changed forever because of a doped-up fighter? I mean, you will never be able to verify that or not, but it is kind of interesting. Like, he had already lost to Roy a couple of times in the junior ranks and once professionally, and then he comes in here and knocks this man into oblivion. And to quote the great Mike Tyson, knocked him out into Bolivia. It was very sad, man. It was very sad to see Roy, man, still out there pity-patting with other cats, tomato cans, man. It's very, very disappointing. Very, very disappointing. From Leonard, what you sippin'? They say don't meet your heroes because they will disappoint, not Roy Jones Jr. I remember going into that fight, and it was very eerily similar to Tyson and Buster Douglas. There wasn't a question. The only person that thought they could win that fight was Antonio Tarver. Like, nobody else in the world. I would love to see what the line was on that fight. The over and under, or, what the odds are on Tarver before that fight. I don't remember anybody thinking Tarver had a chance. I don't remember that. He talked a lot of smack. Now, he talked very confidently before the fight. I remember that. He talked very confidently, You remember the classic line when they met in the middle of the ring? And Tarver was like, you've been running. What you going to do now, Roy? You can't run now, Roy. Remember that? You can't run now, Roy. And then he proceeded to knock him to sleep. Knock this man out. It was horrible, man. One of my worst sports memories ever. Top 5 worst sports memories ever. Maybe I'll do that before we get out of here today. Back in 3 minutes, the Doug Stewart Show.